know what it looks like. I wrote it on the board. Let's write it down in our notes. It is ax squared, f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So that's what we're dealing with here. And so a is just the coefficient of the x squared term, b is the coefficient of the x term, c is we call the constant term. There's no variable behind it. So what we're going to know about vertex form right off the bat, or sorry, standard form right off the bat, is that the y-intercept has coordinates of 0, c. Okay, y-intercept has coordinates 0, c. Okay. To find the vertex, remember the vertex is h and k. Okay. To find the h, we are simply going to take the opposite of b. I'm talking about that right there. The opposite of b. And we're going to divide it by 2 times a. And what that's going to give us is it's going to give us a number that is the x coordinate of the vertex. To find the y coordinate of the vertex, to find the k, we are simply going to take whatever that value is and we're going to plug it into the function. That probably doesn't mean a lot to you right now. It just looks like a whole lot of letters. Okay, that we'll do an example. I think you will remember it, or at least think it looks familiar, like you've done it before. All right, so to find our h, we're going to do negative b over 2a. To find our k, we're going to plug it in. So that's what we're going to do for vertex. One last thing. The axis of symmetry. What does it go through? The vertex. So if I ask for the axis of symmetry, you're doing no more work, because didn't I already find the vertex? Okay. So if I ask you for the axis of symmetry today, that is simply the equation of x equals h. And I'm going to make that pink because it's the same h as above. Same h as above. Okay. Let's try it out then. We're going to find the vertex and y-intercept of f of x equals x squared minus 4x plus 8. I do this for my Algebra 1 students, so I'll do that for you too. Just a reminder, if there's nothing there at all, like let's say this 8 is gone today. If that 8 is gone today, what does that mean C is? 0, okay. But if there's no number in front of a variable, that doesn't mean it's 0. That means that number is 1. So in this case, A is 1. Some of you do not need to write this down. Some of you got this, but some students do. When I'm talking about A is 1. When I'm talking about B is -4. And when I'm talking about C is 8. So if I'm trying to find the x coordinate of my vertex, I'm going to do, the sign doesn't mean negative, guys. It means the opposite of B over 2 times A. All right, so let's find our H. H is the opposite of B. What am I going to write? That means the opposite of -4. If you really need to write that down, you can, or in your head you can just know what's the opposite of -4. +4. Okay. Over 2 times A. This part I can do in my head. The next part, if you need a calculator for it, you're going to want to grab that. What's the opposite of -4? We already said it's 4 divided by 2. What's 4 divided by 2? 2. Question? Okay. You worked it out. Good. Okay, let's find the K. What do I mean by this? What I mean by that is you plug this in for X. That's normally where the X is. So I'm not plugging -b over 2a in, I'm plugging what I simplified it to be. So to find K, we are simply going to do f of 2. Let's plug in 2 to our equation. That gives me 2 squared minus 4 times 2 plus 8. Oh, I don't need a calculator for this. You can get one out if you want to check your math, but I can do that in my head. What's 2 squared? 4 minus 8 plus 8. What does that simplify to be? Thank you, 4. Let's write it as an ordered pair. The vertex is 2, 4. And somebody tell me what's the y-intercept. Good. How are we feeling about that? A little. We should do one more to practice. Then the last thing that I'm going to have you do, what we're going to do together, I think, is I want then to show you, I think you know, but how you put all of the things on the graph. Because yesterday you did a great job of graphing things in vertex form. You have a vertex, you still go over one up A, but now we have another point we can use. So now we could have a potentially a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th point, 5 points to graph. All right, let's try one more example. Let's do one with a negative coefficient. All right, this time we're going to find the vertex, and let's do axis of symmetry. And we'll do g of x equals negative 2x squared minus 8x plus 1. Okay. What I'm going to go ahead and do at the top of my page is I'm going to write vertex, and I'm going to write my little formula. You don't have to do this. I just want to know you to know what I'm referring to. The x coordinates, we said negative b over 2a, and the y coordinate is f of negative b over 2a. Okay. So, in this case, a is negative 2, b is negative 8, and c is 1. So, what goes on the top? Thank you. Positive 8, the opposite of b. And what goes on the bottom? 2 times negative 2. Okay. So when you're evaluating this, we have 8 divided by a negative 4. 8 divided by a negative 4 gives me negative 2. All right, let's find the y coordinate. We're going to do g of negative 2. So we got a lot of thinking going on here because we have a negative 2, and then put this in a parentheses, negative 2 squared minus 8 times negative 2 plus 1. Okay, now, in a perfect world, we would all do this 100% correctly in our head. This is not a perfect world. If you sometimes struggle with like order of operations and what to do first, I would check when you're done on your calculator, okay? And what I mean by that is there are parentheses, not even on the graphing calculator, even on who's got one of the regular, Brian does. There's parentheses on that, okay? Use the parentheses. Because what do I do first in this expression? Yeah, well, the parentheses, but then I do the exponents. What is negative 2 squared? Positive 4. So this would be negative 2 times positive 4 minus 8 times negative 2 plus 1. All right, what is negative 2 times 4? Negative 8. Negative 8 times negative 2 would be plus 16, right? Plus 1. What do you get for that? Nine. Okay, what I mean, when you're done, literally take your calculator out and check. All right, did I do that right? That's what I mean by checking your answer, okay? All right, so we got the coordinates of our vertex. Vertex is negative 2, 9. Good. Axis. No work required. What's the axis of symmetry? Say it louder. You got. I think I heard you right. Yep. It's a vertical line. We're going to write the x equals in front. Don't forget that part. X equals negative 2. You don't have to do any other extra work on that.